Hi, Yvonne.
Yes.
Hi, Nellie.
Nellie, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I appreciate you coming out.
I appreciate your time.
And allow me to record this as well.
Okay.
All right.
That works.
So, before we get started in the actual lesson, there's some very important questions I need to ask you. The first is, are there any type of physical injuries that you've had in the past that I need to know about? Namely, ankles, knees.
Knees, I've had a couple of surgeries, but nothing that hinders my playing on the field.
Okay, how long ago was your surgeries?
At least 10 years ago.
Both knees?
Yes.
Okay. Hips?
Nope.
Back?
Nope.
Shoulders?
No.
Wrist?
No.
Neck?
No.
Awesome. Awesome.
Just the knees.
Just the knees. Good. Can you tell me how long you've been playing golf?
Probably about 25 years.
25. Awesome. Have you ever gotten a lesson from a professional before?
Way back when I first started, but other than that, I haven't had a set lesson in a long time.
Okay. When you had this lesson, did you feel you got something out of it? Did it improve your game?
Yes, it did. Yes,
Okay.
it did.
Awesome.
It did.
And this was from a professional at a golf course or at a facility?
It was at a range where we went just to hit balls, and there was a PGA professional there, and I took a lesson. They had a special for like 7 lessons for a certain price, and
Awesome.
I went a couple times a week, 2 times a week, and hit balls, and then he would work with me for that. so.
Awesome. Alrighty. Did he have you stretch before you started your lessons?
He had tried to get me to stretch. I get a little lazy on that, but
Okay.
yes.
It is so important to stretch. Have you ever participated in sports?
Yes, I used to play softball.
Softball, awesome.
Yes.
Me too. What
Yes.
position?
I was catcher.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's
I was the left-handed pitcher.
left.
Left-handed catcher.
Wow. I
Yeah.
bet righties
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
That was a
little
little
scary.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, so you know, as in softball, how important it is to stretch. Okay. If you're putting, chipping, hitting a ball on the driving range, I can't express enough how important it is to stretch. We're going to do that today. Okay?
Okay.
So what I'd like for you to do is, if you can, I want you to mimic what I'm doing. And in this case, by just doing this, and I don't want you to bounce, I just want you to stretch. And what you're doing is stretching your muscles here. And while we're doing this, tell me, outside of golf, and again, don't do this if it hurts. I actually had shoulder surgery, so after the
If
surgery,
I bend my elbows, I
yeah,
can do it.
Right. Okay. And then we're going to stretch down. Outside of golf, and try not to bounce as you turn. Yeah. What is your most absolute favorite thing or hobby to do? And it could be anything from listening to music to crossword puzzles to riding a bicycle, just anything you enjoy doing. And we'll continue stretching, okay? And what I'd like for you to do...
I enjoy my swimming, and I enjoy shopping.
Awesome.
I am a good shopper.
And that is a hobby.
And I am a good swimmer, too. So.
If I can get you to copy this, and what we're going to do is put it like such, and I'd like to have your legs a little bit apart, a slight bend in your knees. And what I'd like for you to do is take the head of the club and point it to the ground. Okay? This actually mimics the swing, the rotation of your hips.
Oh.
Okay? Come back up and do the other side. Now try not to straighten your left knee, so this should have a slight bend in it. Okay? Come back up. Voila. And it's your actual swing. And in return, you're stretching your muscles.
Okay.
All right? Does any of that hurt for you?
Nope.
Good. Now you said you like to shop.
Yeah.
And you like to swim. Do you get to do much swimming these days?
Not now that I've just moved and I don't have my new home doesn't have a pool in the backyard, so no, I don't get as much swim time as I used to.
And in return, you're going to be able to play more golf.
Yes.
Awesome.
We moved to a home in a golf facility in a golf community.
Awesome.
Yes.
Have you ever played a musical instrument?
I played piano.
Awesome.
Yes.
Do you still play?
Every once in a while I might hit a couple of keys on the piano, but nothing I haven't played in many, many years. So.
Okay. When you were learning to play the piano, can you tell me, did you learn it from looking at sheet music, or did you play by ear?
Both.
Awesome.
I learned through sheet music, and then
First?
once I learned the keys of the piano, then once I would listen to music, a lot of times I could pick it up and get the basic melody.
Awesome. I've always wanted to learn how to play the piano.
It's not that hard. It's just time consuming. It's lots and lots of practice.
Sure. Good. If I can go ahead, I'm going to set this club down right here. I want to talk to you about your equipment.
Mm-hmm.
I see that you have a Diablo driver, the Callaway X Hot Woods and Hybrids, and you have like a power play kind of short irons with a pitch and wedge and sand wedge.
These were given to me as a gift. I had a very good friend pass away, and her parents found them in her some of her belongings. Knowing that we were very good friends, their parents gave me her clubs.
Oh wow!
So this is how I inherited these, and I've tried to adapt to them. I enjoy playing with these clubs, so I just kind of
Okay.
just taken these on to play.
So do you have any idea how old these are?
They
You said they were given to you about 5 years ago.
Yeah, and I think they were maybe 2 years old
At that time.
at that time.
Okay.
I know she had them. I think they were custom cut for her, the lengthwise and everything. And she was about the same height as I am. So
Okay.
I just felt comfortable enough with that.
Okay. You enjoy playing with them?
I do. I
Okay.
do.
Awesome. What is it you want to achieve today? What is your goal today? Why are we out here?
I have issues with my pitching wedge.
Okay.
I either send it all the way across the green going very fast, or it's just a little bloop. And I don't have the finesse of that shot, and I don't feel comfortable
Okay.
using the pitching wedge. I sometimes just get my putter out and putt from 20 yards out
Okay.
because I don't feel comfortable with it, and I want to feel it's in my bag. I want to be able to use the club.
Okay. So, trying to narrow down exactly what you want to achieve today as far as your goal, is it only the pitching wedge that you feel that you can't hit to achieve your goal of getting it up on the green?
Well, I'd like to be able to cut a couple of strokes off my game,
Okay.
5 or 6, 7 strokes off my game, and I think a lot of the extra strokes are when I try to use my pitching wedge.
Okay.
So if I can feel more comfortable and know the proper way of hitting the pitching wedge, I think that would take more strokes off my game and make me a
Okay.
little happier.
Okay. So, looking at your pitching wedge, you have a power play hybrid. It's not your standard pitching wedge. I would recommend possibly updating these clubs for you.
Mhm.
What would you say is your average score per round these days?
High 80s,
Okay.
low 90s, I would
Okay.
think.
And what do you want your goal to be realistically in a time frame?
I would like to shoot in the low 80s. I really would. I'd like to be able to say consistently every game is 82, 83 maybe.
Okay.
I would be happy with that.
Okay, so your goal is to take off anywhere from 5 to 6 strokes.
Mhm.
Okay. What do you feel would be a realistic time frame to achieve this goal?
Oh.
6 months?
I
3
would
months?
think-
A year?
I would say maybe 3 months with lots of practice and taking time to work you know, through on the swing, and you know that
Okay.
would probably be good. I would say 3 months.
Okay. And are you willing to put the practice in to do that?
Oh yes.
Awesome. Well, here's your pitching wedge,
Okay.
and I gave you your 8,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna grab your 7 out of your bag, and I'm gonna set them right here, and I'm gonna move this bag out of the way.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is I've got some balls set up for you right here. I'd like for you to take a couple of practice swings, and I want you to pick a target. And we've got 5 targets out there, and I would like for you to pick a target and hit a couple of balls to your target. And what I'm going to do, Yvonne, is I'm going to walk around and I'm going to look at your swing from several different angles so I can see how you set up.
Okay.
And then offer some possible suggestions on how to improve it.
Okay.
All right?
That'll work.
So whenever you're ready.
Well, that just happened to be my target. That
Wow.
was my target.
You make
Wow.
you make that look pretty easy.
Well, I don't usually do that, so.
So we're going to go to the second
Mhm.
the second cup. Okay.
That's more like it.
Okay, so that's more consistent of what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Either that or it goes like speeding fast over
Okay.
the greens.
Okay. Couple of more. Okay. So how would you find that acceptable, knowing that your target is that second cup?
No.
Okay. So you say that's not a good shot for you.
No.
Okay. A couple more for me, please. And I'm again looking at you from this angle. Okay.
What is that? Right distance, wrong direction,
Your
kind of?
torch was off a little bit.
My towards was off.
Okay.
Yes.
And a couple more for me, please. Okay. And what would you how would you rate that shot?
Well, I think I hit it pretty well, but at the wrong distance.
Okay.
Too much.
So,
So it's learning how far do I go back and how to follow through and.
okay. All right. So you've hit 5 balls.
Mhm.
Of those 5 balls, how many do you find acceptable?
2.
2? Obviously the one closest to
Yeah.
the cup. The very first one.
You'll figure.
And then one more.
And then the second one to the right.
Okay. Alrighty. So there's a couple of things I looked at when I was walking around looking at your posture, your grip, and your alignment. Your grip looks really good. Your posture looks really good. I think you should consider when you set up to the ball, number 1, you tend to put the ball towards your back foot,
Okay.
okay, which is your right foot.
Mhm.
And what I'm gonna do is, just for references, if I were to put my feet right here, you can see that the ball's in the middle of my stance,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
Well, what you tend to do is this, meaning you put the ball towards your back foot. So what that does is the club is still coming down when it makes contact with the ball because the ball is on your back foot,
Okay.
okay? And with the ball in the middle of our stance, the club is squared just like it would be if you set up to it in the middle of the stance, meaning the club is making contact right at the absolute 90 degree,
Okay.
okay? But if you move the ball towards your front foot, your leading foot, your left foot, the club is here at square, but then once it makes contact with the ball, the club is lifting it up in the air. Okay, so it gives you more elevation towards the back foot, it's gonna do a worm burner because the club is still coming down.
Okay, so I
Okay.
need to start playing more towards.
Consider towards your leading or left foot.
Okay.
Okay. Now, a standard pitching wedge, standard degree of loft is 48 degrees.
Mhm.
Okay? That's with the ball in the center of your stance. But when you move the ball towards your back foot, your right foot, because the club is still coming down, the degree of loft has decreased substantially because the ball is still coming down. And when it makes contact with the ball in the center of your stance, it's at 48 degrees. But if the ball is moved towards your front foot, it's more lofted, which gets it up in the air.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. So you're playing softball.
Mhm.
Okay? It's your turn to come up to bat. Did you ever place the ball? Did you ever have a position that you wanted that ball to go?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever change your stance in the batter's box?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you play right-handed
Yes.
golf. Do you bat right-handed as well?
I bat left and right-handed. So
Oh, wow.
That
That's
was-
true. So if you wanted to place a ball, and let's just say for hypothetical reasons, you're right-handed.
right-handed.
Okay. Because I did this as well. I love to put the ball in right field. So what I would do is change my position in the box so that when I swung the bat, of course my hands are in front of it,
Mhm.
right? And the ball will go out to right field. How did you change the direction of the ball?
It would be with my feet, placement of my feet.
Exactly.
So
So use that image as a memory to remind you of where you want that ball to be in your stance.
okay.
Okay? All right. Any questions?
Not yet.
All right. So, just trying to change that one thing. Let's go ahead and set up to the ball. Okay. Now, I want your stance to be a little narrower. In fact, I would
Little
love,
narrow?
Yep, I would love for your feet to be as wide as your shoulders. The reason is the wider the stance, the more opportunity you have to overswing the club. Okay, narrower stance, it's more difficult.
Okay.
Okay, so just have your feet as narrow as your shoulders. Now, I noticed that you're setting your feet before you set the club on the ground. What happens if you're too far away?
I move up.
You do move up. But you don't know that until you put the club on the ground, correct?
Yes.
Would you consider reversing that? Meaning, go ahead and grip the club, hold the club as if you're going to swing it. Set the club behind the ball. Get your posture, and now set your feet. Okay? But let's narrow your stance again a little bit. Now, I don't want you to swing yet, okay?
Okay.
All right. So what I'm going to do, I am now setting in between your feet a club.
Mhm.
You're not going to hit it, okay? But it's a good point of reference to see where the ball is in your stance. See how far up? It's almost too far now.
Mhm.
So we want to just kind of move it just a hair bit more that way. And
Okay.
again, adjust your feet if you're too close or too far. So a little, okay, so set the foot good. Okay. And I'm going to back this up just a hair
Okay.
because I don't want it to interfere with your swing. Now, we have your target still of that second cup, right?
Mhm.
All right. Whenever you're ready, I'd like you to go ahead and
A little strong, but I feel a difference.
okay.
I do feel a difference.
Okay. Did it feel at all comfortable?
It didn't feel uncomfortable. It just
Okay.
felt different because I'm usually standing a little farther back. My feet are a little wider.
Okay.
So that changed a little bit. It's just something new to get used to, but not uncomfortable.
Good. Now, I'm gonna offer you the best suggestion I feel would help you with your distance. You said, in fact, you've got 3 balls that are too long, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you used your pitching wedge. I'm gonna offer, if I can take this from you, that you consider using a 7 or an 8. And the reason is, and I'm giving you the 8.
Okay.
The reason is the club is less, it's more upright now.
Okay.
So that means you don't have to take the club back as far. So you actually have more control over the club and the path of the club head. You don't have to swing as hard. Right?
Makes sense.
Okay. So again, we're going to go ahead and leave that there. Go ahead and set up to it. Now, we're moving from a pitching wedge to an 8 iron. So on those hits, you were swinging pretty high.
Okay.
Right? So now we're going to go ahead and not bring the club as far back.
Like a half swing.
Imagine a clock with all the numbers on it, right? So I want you to consider bringing it back from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. That's what we call a half swing. Okay? And I highly suggest you take a practice swing. See what it feels like.
Do I follow through all the way?
Okay, so if you envision a clock, if you bring it back to 9, you want to bring it through to 3.
Okay. So it's just that. Okay.
Nope, that's too far. Good.
Okay.
9 o'clock, follow through to 6. Good. Too far.
Okay.
Good. Good. Just remember, the club's going to do the work for you. So don't accelerate on your downswing. Again, it's more upright, so that means it's going to make better contact with the ball. And it's going to drive it more than lift it up in the air. Would you like for me to show you?
Yes, I
Okay.
would. Thank you.
Alrighty, so if I can have that, and if you will come stand over here, and I'm going to take a couple of practice swings. Okay, looking at that target right over here. Okay, so my stance, and I'm going to move the ball a little bit out of that little divot. Okay, so my stance is narrow, because the wider the stance, the more I'm going to want to overswing. Okay, so the stance is narrow, and I got the ball towards my leading foot or left foot, right? And I just want to maybe consider going back about this far and following through here. Okay, so let's see what it does for us. Okay. So I brought it back this far, and I only followed through this far. Okay?
Yep.
So I'm not trying to make a big swing. I don't want to make a big swing. Okay? Would you like to give it a shot?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Just relax.
I'm playing more towards my left foot, my
Your
front
leading foot, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. A little off on direction, but the distance I think was okay.
Towards was off, but your distance was really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me point out one thing that I saw. I love that result. Do you like it?
I do.
Okay. So you brought the club back more
Than I needed
than
to.
you needed to, and I
Okay.
think subconsciously you slowed down as you brought the club to the ball because you stopped your swing here. Okay? So the swing is going to be an even tempo.
That needs to be a big practice then for me because I did. I felt like I needed to slow down. So
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay? So let's try it again. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how you do without that there. What did you think?
I thought that was better than the first one, but it still needs improvement.
Okay. Would you say,
I don't think I went back as far.
okay,
So, and that was, I was a conscious effort on that. And I think I followed through pretty well.
okay,
But what I think and what I do sometimes are two different things. so-
sure. So, the first 5 shots, you had a random selection. You had 1 close, 3 that were shorter, and 2 that were longer.
Mhm.
Okay. If you were playing softball, how would you rate those 5 shots? Meaning, the first shot you hit would be the
First shot
ball-
was good.
It was like a home run.
Yeah, because that was spot
Okay.
on there.
But the other 4,
Not so good.
okay.
Foul balls.
There you go, foul balls.
Foul ball.
Okay, so the 2 that I suggested, in which you go to a different club besides your pitching wedge, shorten your backswing, and you follow through. Okay, how would you rate those 2 shots?
Much better.
Okay,
Much better.
and in less than 25 minutes,
Mhm.
you've done with 2 shots what you couldn't do with 5.
Yes.
And all you did was change your club selection. You gained more control over the club by not bringing it as far back, but the club's more upright, so you don't have to bring it as far back,
No.
correct?
Yes.
The second thing we did was change the position of the ball in your stance. You have to remember, when the ball is towards your back foot, the club is still coming down and it's more upright. Then you're going to jab it, which you did several times of those 5 shots. You just basically hit it and you stop swinging. Okay? We want the takeaway and the follow through to match. Okay? Because if you tend to jab, you're either decelerating or you're accelerating and then having to stop.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
It does. It makes a lot of sense.
So when you play piano, and I wish I can learn how to play the piano. Who's your favorite composer? Did you have a particular? I
can't say his name. Tchaikovsky.
Okay.
But
You played him, right?
yes.
Okay. When you played him, you didn't start off fast, right?
No.
You had to build up to it, right? So this is not something you're going to get overnight. You've been playing this for 25 years, correct?
Mhm.
This is something you have to retrain your muscles to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so.
My suggestion to you is, you said you live in a golf course community,
Yes.
so you have availability to a driving range.
Yes. Every day.
Okay. What I would suggest, and we kind of got an idea now, if you look at your shadow on the ground, you see how the sun's casting a shadow?
Mhm.
Hold the club, cast that sun behind you, and you see how it's casting the shadow? Take you some practice swings and look at the shadow of your club
Oh, okay.
so that you can see how far you're bringing it back.
Okay, that makes sense.
Rather than
Yeah.
not having a shadow and doing, turning your head.
Mhm.
This way, all you have to do is turn your eyes.
And keep your head down like you should be anyway. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I got 3 balls here. You've hit a total of 5 balls.
Mhm.
Of those 5, how many would you take in any given day?
3,
Okay.
4, 3.
Okay. I'm going to ask you with these 2 balls,
Mhm.
to hit them, and I want you to rate them for me.
Oh goodness. A little strong.
Okay? So let's shorten your swing.
Okay. And that I would take every time. Thank you. That I would take every time.
So again, ball placement, trying a different club. taking your club back not as far and following through.
Okay.
Okay? Any questions?
No, you just gave me a lot of stuff to work on, so I appreciate that very much.
Long-term goal, you said you were shooting about 89. Where do you want to get down to?
I'd like to get like in the low 80s, so 80 to 83 I would feel comfortable with. So when I go out golfing with any group of people, I would feel confident that I could keep up with them and or show them a good shot every once in a while.
Well, I hope I've helped you achieve that goal today.
You have, Nellie. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And
I
if there's
appreciate your
anything I
time.
can do, please let me know.
Absolutely. Thank
Again,
you.
appreciate you letting me videotape.
Absolutely. Enjoyed it.